Good morning. This is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, Keys a Corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And it's so ironic that I took down the little sort of curtain I had here to protect this area from the sunlight in the morning, and of course it's really coming in strong. But I'm tired of my dining room looking funny with a weird drapery thing. Anyway, today with everything going on in the world and it's just getting more tense, we thought it would be a good day to talk about peace versus panic, choosing peace instead of panic. Now this is something in Tellington T-Touch work that we allow and encourage and help dogs do in order to get them to be able to act instead of react. And it's all about balancing your central nervous system with that parasympathetic peace response against the sympathetic stress response. So we as humans can consciously choose to have peace instead of panic. And part of what that is changing what's happening in your body. Panic means you're breathing fast, you're breathing shallow, your heart rate's up, you're not getting good oxygenation, you're not thinking clearly, you're in that fight-flight response. You're ready to run or scream or fight. And then in the sympathetic, that's the sympathetic response. In the parasympathetic response, your breathing is regular and slow. Your heart rate is at its normal rate, even sometimes a little lower if you're like meditating. Your body chemistry is in a balance of peacefulness, and that's true for our dogs too. One of the things lots of us might notice about our dogs is that if a squirrel's in the yard or somebody's walking by the house or somebody knocks on the door, our dogs get very excited and start barking maybe and get very amped up about what's going on out there. And then as soon as that person or dog is out of view or the squirrel runs into the next yard, the dog's calm and goes back to sleep. That is a well-regulated central nervous system. That is, having that ability to be nervous and worried when you need to and on guard, and then going back to a calm state. When we are in extended time of stress, like we are now, or our dogs could be, that is when we are unable to get out of a continuous panic because we're so amped up all the time. And people have said for my whole life, if you watch TV at all, you're in a constant state of stress. Well, I don't think that's so true anymore because we can watch, for instance, the Soundscapes channels with the peaceful music. We can choose to watch old Lucy reruns, which are funny. But still, to make a TV show interesting, there almost always some tension building, like will Lucy get out of this jam? Or it could be more like, will we solve this crime? So those kinds of shows in particular can get you really stressed out. And what we really need is to relax. So the first thing that you can do to relax is change what's happening in your body consciously. And the first thing to do to accomplish that is to do a Tellington T-Touch heart hug. You're a love and peace type of person. That's good. And your dogs know it. Yes. If you are that kind of person, all dogs know it and dogs will like you. When people say animals always like me, that's what they're talking about, even though they might not know it. So the first thing we'll do is put our hands on our heart. We're going to do a T-Touch heart hug. Remember, we're making the circle like the face of a clock with the 6 towards our feet. We're going to push the skin all the way around that clock and back to the 9. So we're doing a circle and a quarter. You take a deep breath in, and then you make that circle and a quarter as you exhale. And we'll just do a couple of these. And as you're doing this, you want to think about things that make you happy. How much you love your dog, how beautiful the weather is, how much you love that new cute outfit you bought. Whatever it is that makes you happy, look at something that makes you smile when you do this T-Touch heart hug. And breathe in and exhale when you go back around that circle. Now, it might be littler for you than what I'm doing. I'm trying to accentuate it so you can see it. And immediately, you're more relaxed. And then you can do what is a certain kind of breathing. It has many names. Peep breathing is one of them. Square breathing is one of them. And we have several episodes on breathing going back to the beginning of the pandemic time. So if you look in YouTube on Conversations with a Corgi, you can see all kinds of different breathing to do. But the best one to calm you down when you're getting in a state of panic is to breathe in through your nose for 2 or 3 or 4, whatever is good for you. Hold for 4 or 2 or 3, the same as what you breathed in, and then exhale for the same amount of time. So I'm doing 4, so breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. And then exhale for 4. And as I'm doing this, I'm becoming really aware that it's settling my whole body into my hips, into my chair, into my feet on the floor, and it's grounding you. So that's a kind of square breathing. It has lots of different names depending on whether you're learning it in yoga class, meditation class, T-touch class, or from your neighbor. So that's another way to help relax yourself. Another thing that you can do is what lots of people call go to my happy place. You just close your eyes and imagine where you like to be that makes you happy. It might be just sitting in your backyard on a summer day looking at the birds. It might be, for me, sitting at the beach and hearing the rhythm of the waves lapping at the shoreline, that repeated, constant rhythm. I have recordings I've made of this because it makes me so happy. It might be, for someone who's a mom, seeing the face of the person that's your child, no matter how old they are, and being happy to connect with them again and see what their life is about. So whatever your happy place is, I have a client who had such a beautiful description of her happy place. It was laying on a raft in her grandma's pond. This is important because grandma always had good food. You could smell pie cooking and things like that. The pond was calm and clear. You could see to the bottom, so there were no critters. And you were in the sun on a nice 75-degree day so that your temperature was perfect. And if you did get a little hot, you could put water on you. And if you were a little cool, there was a place you could go where the sun was extra warm. So being in that place of absolute physical comfort and emotional comfort was a great way to calm down everything in her body. And this was a person with some significant pain that she was able to manage without drugs just by going to her happy place, which I thought was a really good one because she had worked really hard on it and her life was extremely challenging. And yet she had this beautiful picture of a place that really existed in her early childhood. And then she enhanced it. And so she had the smells and the sounds of the birds, and all of that can put you in a place of peace instead of panic. And you can do these things at any time of any day. When you are getting into a state of panic, just turn it off and put yourself back into a state of peace. It balances your central nervous system. It is good for your immune system. It is good for your youthfulness. And it's good for your body, and the best part is it's good for your relationship with your animals. When you are in this state of peace, we are irresistible to animals because 90% of them live in that state all the time. So you might notice the birds lingering a little longer on the deck railing when you're sitting out there, or your dogs wanting to be with you more in the same room, or your kitty spending more time purring on your lap, or your horse not being so hard to catch. So find this state of peace and bring peace over panic into your life. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Conversations with a Corgi. We are doing our educator job Monday and Tuesday next week, but not on Wednesday. But we do have dog school that day, so we probably won't be back with another episode until Thursday next week. So thanks for joining us, and I think Brian has now put all of the recent episodes on YouTube, but since I'm only doing one a week, there might be 2 or 3 straggling still on Facebook. But you don't have to scroll very far to find them all because I'm really only able to do this once a week right now. So thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great day. Tristan and I have a little bit of yard work to do, and our clients are coming in about an hour, and we're going to have a fun day, aren't we? All right, thanks for joining us. Beautiful day. You're right, it is nice.